Welcome back to Diaspora Dad. If you're new here, my name is Chico. And on this channel, we have conversations about culture, family, identity, fatherhood, and the diaspora experience. Before we get started, do me a favor, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and follow Diaspora Dad on Instagram and Spotify. Your support helps us continue sharing stories and conversations that connect people across cultures and generations. Now, let's get into it. Today, I want to talk about something bigger than soccer, something bigger than sports. The FIFA World Cup is coming back to the United States in 2026 for the first time since 1994. And while many people are focused on the matches, the stars, the stadiums, I believe there's another story worth talking about. A diaspora story, a human story, a story about culture, identity, and what kind of nation we want to be. Because if we're honest, we're living through a complicated time. Around the world, there are wars, there are economic struggles. Families are worried about inflation, jobs, and the future. People are more divided politically than they have been in years. And here in the United States, there are conversations happening about immigration, borders, nationalism, race, identity, and who belongs. Whether you lean left, right, or somewhere in the middle, most people can agree that tensions exist. And that's why I think the World Cup arrives at a unique moment. Not as a solution, but as an opportunity. An opportunity for millions of people to remember something important. Our differences don't have to be threats. They can be strengths. For those of us in the diaspora, this feeling is familiar. Many of us live with multiple identities every day. We're African and American, Nigerian and Texan, Ghanaian and New Yorker, Liberian and Californian, Sierra Leonean and American born. Others are Haitian and Floridian, Brooklyn raised, but yet from Trinidad, Colombian and Chicago born, Jamaican and Dallas made, Mexican and Los Angeles proud. Many of us carry more than one story, more than one flag, more than one culture. We know what it feels like to belong to multiple worlds at the same time, to carry one language at home and another outside, to celebrate one set of traditions with our family and another with our friends. Sometimes that experience can be confusing, but it can also be a gift because it teaches us something the world desperately needs right now. We don't have to choose one identity to respect another. You can honor your roots while embracing where you are. One of the things I love about the World Cup is that for 1 month, the entire world comes together. Think about that. People from every continent, every language, every religion, every economic background, all watching the same event. The World Cup reminds us that humanity still shares common experiences like joy, pride, hope, competition, celebration, heartbreak, and for a few weeks, strangers become neighbors. People learn about countries that they have never thought about before. They hear different languages, taste different foods, listen to different music, experience different cultures. That matters. especially now. And, well, from an African perspective, this World Cup is particularly exciting. For the first time in history, Africa will send a record number of teams to the World Cup. The expansion of the World Cup means more African teams will have the opportunity to compete on the world's biggest stage. That's huge because African football has never lacked talent. Never. Instead, what Africa has often lacked is opportunity, infrastructure, and representation. Yet, despite those challenges, African players have become some of the biggest stars in the world. From Nigeria, I know Nigeria didn't qualify, but Ghana, Senegal, Cameroon, Morocco, the Ivory Coast, South Africa, and beyond. African football continues to grow. And after Morocco's historic run to the semifinals in 2022, the entire world saw something many Africans already knew. African teams belong among the best. Not as underdogs, not as a feel-good story, but as legitimate contenders. So, when a World Cup comes to American soil, African communities across the United States will have a chance to celebrate their heritage in a very visible way. With flags, jerseys, music, food, family gatherings, watch parties, and pride. Lots of pride. But I think the significance goes even deeper than football. Because America itself is a diaspora nation. Think about that. People from every corner of the globe have helped build this country. Europeans, Africans, Caribbeans, Asians, Latinos, Middle Eastern communities, indigenous peoples, people who arrived generations ago, and people who arrived last year. America's story has always been connected to migration and diversity. That doesn't mean there haven't been tensions. There always have been, and there always will be. America's story has always been connected to migration and diversity. That doesn't mean that there haven't been tensions, but moments like the World Cup remind us that diversity is not just something to tolerate, it's something to celebrate because every culture brings something valuable. Every community contributes something unique. Every family carries a story worth hearing. As a father, I think about what my children will see. I hope they see a country confident enough to welcome the world. I hope they see people who can disagree politically, yet still enjoy a game together. I hope they see communities taking pride in their roots without looking down on someone else's. I hope they see African flags flying proudly next to American flags. Not in competition, but in harmony. Because that is the reality for many diaspora families. We do love where we came from, or at least where our parents came from. And we appreciate where we are. Both and all can be true. And maybe that's one of the greatest lessons the diaspora can offer. The ability to bridge worlds, to translate cultures, to build relationships, to understand multiple perspectives in a world increasingly defined by division. That skill is becoming more valuable than ever. Now, of course, the World Cup won't solve wars. It won't fix the economy. It won't eliminate political disagreements. But it can remind us that there is still something powerful about shared experiences, about community, about seeing humanity in people who may look, speak, or live differently than we do. So, as the 2026 World Cup approaches, I'm looking forward to more than just the matches. I'm looking forward to the conversations, the celebrations, the cultural exchanges, the friendships, the memories. I'm looking forward to seeing an African nation make some noise on the world stage. Because for 1 month, The world will come to America or to the Americas. And America will have a chance to show the world its best self. Not perfect, but welcoming. Not uniform, but united. Not divided by our differences, but strengthened by them. And that's what I hope we remember long after the final whistle is blown, that every person has a story, every culture has a value, and every community has something to contribute. Now, whether your roots are in Africa or the Caribbean or Latin America or Europe or Asia or right here in America, there is room for all of us to celebrate who we are while respecting one another. The World Cup gives us a glimpse of what that can look like. A world connected not by politics, not by economics, but by shared humanity. Thank you for tuning in to Diaspora Dad. If you enjoyed this episode, please like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share it with a friend or a family member. You can also follow me on Instagram and listen to Diaspora Dad on Spotify for more conversations about culture, family, identity, and legacy. Let me know in the comments, which country will you be supporting in the 2026 FIFA World Cup? Until next time, take care of your family, honor your roots, build your legacy. And remember, you don't have to choose between where you come from and where you're going.